you guys doing? Thank you for tuning in and welcome back once again, man, to yet another episode of MisterJaay's Reaction. You guys good, man? Hey, it's always a pleasure to have you stop by and check what Mr. J has to say. Disclaimer, this is a non-musical reaction, and I want us to react to something a fan reached out to me a couple of days ago, but I've been a little bit under the weather, so we are going to talk about it now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we do get started, do not forget, man, it's always going to be a pleasure to have you as part of the family. Yes, right over here, man, this is Mr. J's Reaction, but we are proudly Motherland, you dig? Now, let's not waste a whole lot of time, man. Let's get into it. So, a couple of days ago, somebody sent me something which happened a couple of months ago, and it's about this South Sudanese situation where a 19-year-old was termed the most expensive bride in the world, and I think a world record dowry was paid for her hand in marriage. Now, if you don't know, man, we come from a continent where we still respect our traditions, man. It's very normal for dowries to be paid. It's not like out in the diaspora where you meet a girl, you just have to fall in love, and then you ask her hand in marriage. In Africa, you have to go see the girl's parents. You have to make some payments. Then the parents have to be like, okay, we agree to give you our daughter, and then you will get married to her. Now, I want us to talk about this sister, man. Her name is Athiak Dau Riak, and she's 19 years old, and she is tall as hell. The first time the person who asked me to check this is, and I saw her, I'm like, she needs to be playing in the WNBA. And he was like, no, man, I want you to give me your take on this. Big up and shout out to all my family out there in South Sudan, man. Any part of Africa you are from, you are my brother and my sister. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, so apparently two sons of the community were actually going back and forth to see who would get married to this little sister, and an engineer by the name Chol Marol Deng, he finally secured this sister's hand in marriage. Now, ladies and gentlemen, paying dowry is a very beautiful thing. Before we come to the details and the nitty-gritty of how much it costs, I want to say this: paying dowry is a beautiful thing. It's our culture, it is our heritage as people from Africa. But commercializing this whole dowry system is something which I kick against, and I have never ever supported. What do I mean by that? Back in the day, it was okay to just, gather the little bitty, resources you have, and you went to see the girl's parents, and if they saw that you guys had good rapport, and it was just pure love, they gave you their daughter. And now it turns out this sister's dowry is said to be the most expensive because engineer Chol Marol Deng apparently paid close to 120 million pounds, Sudanese pounds. That's a whole lot of money. And he provided about 158 cows, and then 2 bars of gold, pure gold. Now, if you know anything about Sudan, you should know that recently, less than 20 years ago, Sudan separated. Sudan used to be one, and now we have the South Sudan, and then we have Sudan. And that part of Sudan is rich in natural resources. It's a whole lot of oil. There's a whole lot of, gold. There's a whole lot of stuff coming out of South Sudan. And so these people landed upon, upon separation, they landed upon a good deal of natural resources, which has actually helped in the influx of money for some people. Yes, by the way, before we do get started, I want to give a shout out to the South Sudanese team. They did their best during the Olympics in Paris. Big up. We saw a whole lot of great basketball players. And let's come back to this whole topic. Now, as an African, I want to ask this brother who came back. I don't know if your brother or your sister, but it's all love. Do you think that it was necessary to pay all this amount for this little sister, this 19-year-old, about, I don't know if she's 3 feet tall, but she is tall. I know that people from that part of Africa, they are really, really, really tall. Do you think that it is necessary to pay all this money for her? Now, her qualities are said to be: she is beautiful, she is tall, she is a virgin. And apparently in some African culture, being a virgin is still highly respected. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a source of pride for the family that you raised a good daughter. She wasn't defiled and everything. But ladies and gentlemen, on the other side, the flip side of all this whole situation, I would beg to say this man, an engineer who won this little girl's hand in marriage, and this little girl has actually not a whole lot of educational status. What do I mean by that? Rather than paying that much money for this sister for her hand in marriage or the dowry, why not educate the sister? Why not uplift the sister to a certain level in which she can give back and help the other people? Now, this is MisterJaay's take. Now, I will ask you this. Yeah, we know that around Africa, in different tribes and clans in Africa, it was always, dowry was always paid. It is still paid by animals. You can give goats, you can give cows. But I think my Sudanese people take it to a whole different level. Now, wealth in certain part of Africa is actually in relation to how much cattle you have, livestock. And the Sudanese folks, they grew up in the system of pastoral nomads. Ladies and gentlemen, misquote MisterJaay if I'm wrong. Before the separation, a whole lot of that part of Sudan was made up of farmers who actually were, it was all about the cattle, the livestock for them. Now, for this man to pay this much money, which I'm thinking it should be over at least 130,000 US dollars. Don't quote MisterJaay on that, but I'm saying, do you think that she is worth all of these things? I'm not going to say so much, but I will say this. Given that we are in 2024, I am thinking that a daughter from Africa should not be commercialized in terms of dowry. But that doesn't mean that if you have the means, by all means necessary, go for it. But if I had a daughter who was to get married and the dowry is being, I wouldn't feel very comfortable. But of course, that coming from South Sudan and her family is going to be an extra source of income. Because there's a saying in Africa that having more daughters helps you to be rich or makes you a rich person, because people will come and seek for their hands in marriage. And of course, by so doing, you get rich. Some parents rely on that, some don't. You feel me? So I just want you to, come back, leave a comment, let me know exactly if you do think that she is actually worth all of that. And what is your take on this? That's my time, man. I'm not going to talk too much, man. Do not forget, man. I hope you did become part of the family. We are ProudlyMotherland over here. We will keep talking everything that concerns our continent. From me to you, do not forget to keep watching and share. Stay blessed.